Hey everyone, Bill Lethman here with Money Evolution. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some changes that are coming to your required minimum distributions for 2023. So many of you may have already seen something called the Secure Act 2.0 just passed in December of 2022. And so these brand new rules and changes are going to be rolling out as of January 1st of 2023 as it relates to those required minimum distributions. So when I first started preparing for this video, I thought it'd be really easy and quick to put together a video on this topic. But as I started taking a little bit of a deeper dive, I realized just how complicated it really was and where there's some areas that I think can be confusing for some people. So in this video, I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to talk about some key ages and some key years that you really need to think about as it relates to this topic of RMDs, because I think, as a lot of people know, if you don't take the right amount for your RMD or you don't take one at all, the penalty can be very steep. In fact, it can be 50% of the amount that you were supposed to take for your required minimum distribution that you didn't take that you were supposed to take. But real quick though, before I get into today's topic, if you like what we're doing here, please make sure to hit that like or subscribe button. If you want to learn a little bit more about what we do, we've got some links down in the description below. You can learn more about our comprehensive financial plan called Wealth Vision, also our retirement planning course called the Retirement Time Machine, and we also have some links to some great free resources down below as well. Okay, so up on the board here, I've got some key ages and some key dates as it was outlined in the Secure Act 2.0 for required minimum distributions. So let's take a look at bullet point item number 1 that was outlined in the Secure Act. It says that your RMD age will be age 73 if you turn 73 before January 1st of 2033. Seems like a pretty straightforward statement there. Bullet point item number 2 says your RMD age will also be 73 if you turn 73 after January 1st of 2022. Also seems like a pretty straightforward statement. Essentially, we've got a little bit of a window here where our RMD age is changing from what it is currently, age 72, to age 73. But there's a little bit of overlap there. So let's take an example here. Let's say you're turning 73 this year in 2023. Well, that means that you would have been 72 last year in 2022 and therefore required to take a distribution, that RMD, for 2022. So really, this is not going to have an impact until 2024 for those people that are going to be turning 73 in 2024. Okay, so let's take a look now at bullet point item number 3. And I think this is where things are going to get a little bit more confusing, and I think, quite honestly, an area where many people, I think, are going to misinterpret what this rule actually says and what are the key ages here. So let's go ahead and reread that again. It says that your RMD age will be 75 if you turn 74 after December 31st of 2032. So right there, just in the way they word this, is confusing in my opinion here. So if you turn 74 after December 31st, 2032, that means you're turning 74 in 2033, and then you're turning 75 in 2034. So again, you can kind of see where the confusion is. So does that mean that if you're turning 75 in 2034 or later, that's your RMD age? Well, not so fast, because if we go back up to bullet item number 1, it says your RMD age will be 73 if you turn 73 before January 1st of 2033. So if you turn 75 in 2034 and we back that up 2 more years, that means you're actually turning 73 in 2032. So I know that gets incredibly confusing there. So that means that your RMD age will still be age 73, even if you're born in, you're turning 75, I should say, in 2034. So you can see just how confusing this really is getting here when you consider how these bullet points are actually worded there and how there's some overlap between all these different bullet points there. So if you think about RMD age at 75 and it coinciding or conflicting with item number 1, you're not going to have age 75 as your RMD age unless you're turning 75 in 2035 or later there. So I know it can get really confusing, but I actually put together a really simple chart here to simplify this incredibly, I think. And basically, your RMD age is going to be age 72 if you were born in 1950 or before. Your RMD age is going to be 73 if you were born between 1951 and 1959, and it's going to be 75 if you were born in 1960 or later there. So I think what they tried to do with the Secure Act 2.0 is sort of create a graduated schedule, kind of similar to what they did with Social Security when they changed the Social Security full retirement age and kind of had this kind of staggered approach to different birth years and when your full retirement age was going to be. And they did this also with the RMDs here as well. So I think many people, I think when they first saw this may have thought, oh, hey, now I don't have to take an RMD till I'm 75, or maybe misinterpreted that, that maybe if they were turning 75 at some future year, maybe they could do that. But this is really kind of, I think, simplifying that. Just look at when you were born, what year you were born, and then that's going to tell us what your RMD year is actually going to be, whether it's going to be 72, 73, or 75. So thanks for sticking with me through all of that. I know it can get a little bit confusing. Hopefully we simplified this at the end here to make it super helpful for you. Once again, if you liked the video here today, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button there. Check out the resources down below and some of the links there. If you want to learn more about what we do, we've got our Wealth Vision Comprehensive Financial Plan. We help clients with this sort of thing all the time, and we'd love to help you as well. So go ahead and check those links out, and I will see you back in one of our next videos. Thanks.